Hi, this is JP Miller with Reach. We're continuing our Wisdom for Sale tutorial. In the previous section, we explored units and balances using Reach. In this section, we'll be deploying the contract with the seller. Part of this project in the Wisdom for Sale application is using JSON strings to show our contract. And so our seller is going to deploy the contract and then show a JSON string so that the attacher, the buyer, can attach to the contract using that call. The information that's shared as far as that string is concerned is different from network to network, but essentially accomplishes the same purpose of allowing an attacher to find the contract, to attach onto a contract and interact with another participant. In a tutorial like this is a great way to show you how you can deploy and attach to a contract. In the real world, there are different ways to work with this, and often one of those ways is that the wallet is the intermediary, and so the wallet is used to deploy and to attach to a contract. So let's get into it. We're going to continue on in our front end, but very soon we'll be in our back end. And so we'll start on the front end here. So you're going to go over here to lines, what I have around 23, around where your role is assigned to seller and the seller interact. This is what we're interested in now. So we're in our front end. So this is our interact object for the seller interact. And it's time to populate that seller interact object. So this is pretty exciting, where we get to give our, let's say our participants functionality. They get to start doing things. So this is a really exciting part of the program. So let's check it out. So as a seller, they're going to want to name a price for the wisdom that they're going to be selling. And they'll want to say that, this is ready, that I'm ready to share my wisdom with you. So they'll be sharing a JSON string saying, hey, the contract is open and I want to share my wisdom with the world. Who wants to hear it? So let's set a price. And we'll hard code the price to be 5 units. There we go. And then we'll create our report ready. And report ready will be an asynchronous function that takes in an integer as an argument, and it will have no outputs. And we'll just print a message to our users. So we'll say, hey, your wisdom is for sale. And we'll say where that wisdom is for sale so that they can connect. For sale at $5. The string. There you go. And then console.log. And let's see, contract info. Okay, and this will be the information that we actually get to print. So we'll say await contract get info, and so this is the act of attaching to the contract. So this line here, what we have here at line 29, is the console, the contract information, showing that stringified version, and what this looks like will be a JSON string. So that's the exciting part, and I can't wait to show you the different JSON strings. Before we do that, before we run the program, we're going to jump over to the back end of our Reach program, and we're going to start adding instructions to our seller. So let's do that together. Okay, so now we're in our back end, and as I've said, that the back end mirrors the front end. The front end interact objects mirror the back end interact interface. And so if you recall, in the front end, we've just populated our seller interact with 2 different methods. And we'll do that now. We'll mirror that in the background, in the back end. And so for our seller interact here, let's add, this states the architecture of the methods, whereas in the front end we define the functionality and the instructions. This say, hey, this is how it's going to be architected. This is how we're going to build. So in this case of price, it's going to just be an integer. And report ready, as I said, was or is a function that takes in an unsigned integer. And that should be an array. There we go, square brackets, and has no output. Now, let's see. There we go. That's where the print came in. All right, now we're set. Okay, and that's all we'll do there. And then the last thing we'll have for this part is adding in an only step. So far we only have the app initialization phase. So now once we hit that init step, we move out of app init and we move into our step. And so from here, we're going to have our seller move into their only step, or excuse me, into their local step. Oh, those words. And we'll say, hey, your price is, they're going to declassify the price. So declassify and interact are methods that can only be ran inside of a local step. And so first, the seller is interacting with the price, which we hard-coded as 5 atomic units. And then they're going to declassify that information inside of a constant called price. Okay, and then we're going to move out of the local step here where we close the squiggly, where we close the squiggly bracket and our paren. And then we'll publish our information. And then the seller will interact with the report ready, saying the price. And we'll commit that information. So what is happening here is that seller is in their local step on line 18, and then they exit that local step at the end into a step. When we publish information, we move into a consensus step where everything is written onto the blockchain. This information lasts forever. And then seller moves back into their local step to interact with the report ready function. And it looks like I have an extra print. This should not be a parenthesis, excuse me. That should be a period. There we go. That's fixed now. And then we move back into our step. Okay. And so we're ready to run our program now. So let's open that up. And let's go ahead and connect to a new network. So let's say export reach connector mode equals algo. And then we'll do a reach run or a reach compile first. Now that we've changed our contract in the backend, we'll do a reach compile. This is the compile. It only looks at the index.rsh file. Okay, and so we have 4 theorems, no failures. We're all good there. And now we'll do a reach run. Oh, right. And so we see this usage report come in. I was trying to be lazy and just run the reach run. And of course, it's actually reach run index seller. And we've only updated seller, so this will be the interesting information here is where we get our contract information. So the expert mode didn't work. We'll just do a reach config. So we can see contract information with the JSON string looks like an Ethereum, right? And we see our balance. So our balance is no longer 1,000. Now this means that we have deployed our contract and our participant needed to pay a little bit of their ETH in order to deploy that contract. And that's why our balance has gone from 1,000 Ethereum to just under 1,000, right? 999 Ethereum. If we set up our reach config, we'll change our, we'll quickly change to algorand so we can see what that looks like. Okay, so let's copy that, paste it into our terminal, and now we'll do a reach run index seller, and we'll get to see what an algorand deployment message looks like. And so here is the hex number is the number. It says, hey, the type is a big number, and then gives us our hex. And this would be with the quotes and all. Same for Ethereum, quotes and all. And now we can do the same thing for conflicts. So we'll take a quick look and reset to Conflux number 2. And then do I still have that pasted? There we go. Great. It makes it simple for me. And then we'll run Reach run index seller one more time. Okay. And let's see our seller. Roll a seller. Our atomic unit is a drip in Conflux. And here is the JSON string in Conflux. So it looks more similar to Ethereum, but we have this prefix of the net 999. Okay, so we have successfully deployed our contract on 3 different networks, Ethereum, Conflux, and Algorand. And in the next section, we're going to attach the contract with the buyer. So we'll deploy, and now in the next section, what we'll do is we'll build the functionality so that our buyer is able to attach to what the seller is deploying. Again, we have links in the description below, so be sure to check those out. They'll link you to our source code and the documentation, the tutorial, and you can check us out at the next video. Follow along with us.